Hey everyone, this is my build of the Little Blue Tank Engine from the classic children's storybook, The Little Engine That Could, a book that I had when I was a very, very, very young child, and I only remembered it very, very recently. I've been looking for an opportunity to do a steam tank engine for some time. Did not want to do Thomas, that's been done way too many times, and I'm not that interested in steam locomotives in general. However, tank engines did kind of pique my curiosity and wanted to try one in Lego form. Now for this build, I decided to limit myself only to parts that I had on hand, and that did require a lot of compromises and really put a lot of restrictions on the build. As a result, the end result is definitely nowhere near as good or as accurate to the original source material as it could have been had I availed myself of basically unlimited parts by allowing myself to make bricklink orders. So this was from several building sessions that you'll see the footage stitched together here, and a number of times I had to go back and change a lot of things. This does actually work, as you've already seen. It uses a Power Functions large or L-sized motor, and it has a rechargeable battery pack in the back of it. Both real Lego items, unmodified. Does not have a remote system in it, an infrared receiver, because I just didn't have the parts available to integrate that in nicely. I was really running low on important things. It was especially low on curved parts and angled parts by the end of this. I still have some regular bricks left over. Not too many plates though. This has really used up a lot. There were a lot of interesting mechanical challenges in this with the use of the very, very small wheels and low clearance that left me very little room for things to move around. And also the weight distribution of the whole thing was interesting, with the fact that the battery holds most of the weight and that's hanging way off the back, and even the motor itself is behind the single driven axle of the thing. So it was a challenge to get traction onto that driven axle, and I eventually put a actual ballast piece inside of the boiler towards the rear of the boiler. And in the end, it works. It just works. Like I said, it's not as accurate as I would have liked, not as accurate as would be possible with access to more parts, but given that I had already depleted my medium and kind of lightish blue colored pieces in general, building my Blauhaus building, I was happy that I had just enough in terms of curves to be able to finish this thing off. The battery is accessed in the back with a single button, and you just turn the whole thing on by operating the speed selector that's built into that battery unit. I was also limited with the connecting rod system, both in terms of parts and also width. Everything on my layout needs to be less than 8 studs wide in order to fit through various features that I have. So I wasn't able to cover up the cylinders as well as I would have liked. All the weight is held by the main driven axle and the first pair of wheels just behind it. The rearmost pair of wheels are able to swivel back and forth on one axis, and at the front, we've got a bogie there that's able to swivel and also shift from side to side in order to make it around some very tight turns. There's also just a little bit of vertical play in all of these joints, the little turntable pieces, that is very important for going over inclines, especially starting an incline and ending it. Also even going across the peak of one. So see, it's able to get around the tightest radius, well, the only radius of official turns that Lego has made in their static tracks, their normal tracks. It's the exact same radius that they use today for their plastic tracks. And also, I believe, the same that you're able to get from the maximum rotation of a set of flex tracks. But here it goes, going up the incline. Not quite as dramatic as in the story, but it's able to get up it just fine. It actually moves around fairly smoothly, and I've had this thing running continuously for quite a long time, and it doesn't tear itself apart, pull itself apart, or shift things around, or start squeaking or anything like that. You know, it's things that tend to happen in real life with custom-built locomotives. You start to find out different things that you didn't think of along the way. I did have to do a good amount of testing along the way, and that led to many of the rebuilds that I did, especially with the front couple of axles and how they were set up. Now this is able to move faster than you're seeing there. Here we go. So this is actual footage of it going at its maximum speed, but it has torque to spare. So it's able to go very, very slowly without bogging down in turns or when it goes over the hill. And potentially with a complete rebuild, I could re-gear it to actually make it go even faster than this if I wanted to. I think this is plenty of speed to kind of represent a comically fast locomotive. I think that this is, an unrealistic speed for this type of thing. It's really intended to be kind of like a yard switcher more than anything. But I'm happy with this speed, and just the fact that it's able to go and go and go without without stopping until the battery runs out, which takes a while, is a good thing. So again, in summary, lots and lots and lots of challenges and limitations, mostly based on parts and geometry of tracks and everything. But the end result is something that makes me happy. So thank you for watching, and I hope that you've enjoyed this as well. I'm going to get to work on some more stuff, so I'll be talking to you again soon.